pilgrimage is a sacred journey on which a most fortunate traveler can visit sites blessed by many holy beings. We walk where the Buddha walked, meditate where the Buddha and other holy beings meditated, so the practice and deep insights of these highly realized beings inspire our own practice. Join us as we venture through these magical sites, and if you feel the calling to actually come on this pilgrimage, it will not only lend tremendous benefit to your own life, but will serve the future development of Milarepa Center. It is hard to envision a trip to India without a visit to Varanasi, one of the oldest living cities on earth and a holy pilgrimage site for Hindus, Buddhists, and Jains. Sometimes called Benares, Varanasi was said to have developed at the meeting of two rivers, the Varuna and the Asi. Located in the state of Uttar Pradesh, Varanasi is set on the banks of the holy Ganges River, or the Ganga, a unique body of water that serves as a source of life and an auspicious passage in death for the city's approximately 4 million inhabitants. Bathers are often seen washing and laundering there at all hours of the day, and a river excursion is highly recommended. Holy men or sadhus take up residence in this city of many sacred temples. It is most Hindus' final wish that they make pilgrimage to Varanasi so that after death they can be cremated by the holy Ganga. Another fantastic ritual to observe here is the evening religious ceremonies or pujas of the Brahmin priests as they light up the night with a sacred fire offering. Varanasi is one of the most sensual places in India, offering a vast array of precious silks, culinary delights, and divine music. The city is best experienced in person as one immerses here in the heart and soul of India. Just outside Varanasi is the tiny village of Sarnath, the site of Gautama Buddha's first teaching on the Four Noble Truths. The site is known for its great stupa or shrine and its surrounding deer park where one can still feed the deer. Sacred ruins of an ancient monastery surround the stupa and park, as well as many other temples, and one can venture through an exhibit of the life story of the Buddha. Bodhgaya, located in Bihar, one of the poorest states in India, is one of the holiest places for Buddhists to visit, as it was the site where Prince Siddhartha Gautama attained enlightenment around 2,500 years ago. In honor of this unique event, a large Mahabodhi Stupa now stands on the site where the Buddha sat in meditation to remove the last traces of obscurations to freedom and fearlessness. It is a common and most beneficial practice to circumambulate or do korwa around the walkways surrounding this holy shrine. Behind the stupa lives a grand descendant of the original Bodhi tree under which the Buddha sat in meditation. Pilgrims can spend time circling the stupa and rejoice at the many practitioners engaged in prostrations and other practices. Others may enjoy some quiet time sitting under the famous Bodhi tree and meditate there to connect with the sacred space the Buddha created. There are several pilgrimage sites near Bodhgaya. One of them is the Mahakala Cave, in which holy images of the Buddha self-emanated due to the practices done here in ancient times. Like Bodhgaya and any of the pilgrimage sites, these are wonderful places to inspire one's own practice. Rajgir and Nalanda are easily visited from Bodhgaya and well worth the journey. Rajgir, or Vulture's Peak, is the site where the Buddha taught the famous text on the nature of reality, the Heart Sutra. The site is a short climb to a rocky peak and still basically unadorned. However, its spiritual impact is extremely moving. Nalanda, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, contains the ruins of a vast monastic university that flourished from the 5th or 6th centuries until the 13th. One can walk the spacious brick ruins and imagine what it must have been like to attend one of the earliest universities in recorded history. It was at Kushinagar that the Buddha gave his final discourse on impermanence and passed away in the lion posture. A large reclining Buddha statue depicts this final teaching and position, and there are small stupas that can be visited in the village. A beautiful large reliquary can also be seen that is said to house a bone fragment from the Buddha's forehead. This is a precious place to reflect and meditate on death and impermanence. Continuing along the Buddhist path, Shravasti is famous for being the site where the Buddha spent many monsoon retreats. Previously a lush and affluent area, Shravasti boasted a thriving monastery where the Buddha practiced. Ruins of the monastery can be explored, and many great teachers have found it to be a tremendous site for practice and uplifting the mind. Moving into Nepal, the Buddha's actual birthplace, one enters the Kathmandu Valley and the rich temples and cultures of a previous royal kingdom. Lush valleys surround the now somewhat crowded center of Kathmandu. However, dynamic markets and lovely, gracious people make up for the congestion. A simple day trip takes the pilgrim to Parping, just outside the Kathmandu Valley, where many temples and monasteries exist. The main feature of this beautiful area is a self-arisen Tara statue, along with some other spontaneous emanations of holy beings. Offering prayer flags here that disseminate blessings to the environment and a visit to and practice at a local nunnery are highly recommended. Pilgrimage is really my favorite way to travel. You can go to all different places all over the world, get off of a bus and snap pictures. But with pilgrimage, it's really a deeply spiritual journey. You're visiting places that holy beings meditated, they practiced, there were monasteries, nunneries, thriving monastic communities of spiritual practitioners that were making great strides in overcoming the delusion in their mind. So you go to these places and you make offerings and you're sitting and you're reflecting and you're meditating. There's teachings throughout. I lead meditations. And so, yes, you go deeply inside. Sometimes you're out of your comfort zone. Pilgrimage is not necessarily supposed to be comfortable, but as a result of that, the process you go through is incredibly transformative. Bodhanath, or Bodha to locals, is a Tibetan village located just outside Kathmandu that is home to one of the greatest stupas in the world. The size of a city block and surrounded by Tibetan shops, the Bodha Stupa is said to have been built in ancient days by an old woman and her 4 sons to house relics of the Buddha Kashyapa, who preceded Shakyamuni Buddha or Prince Siddhartha. The Bodha skyline is dominated by the dynamic tower with its watchful eyes and prayer flags, and many circumambulate the shrine as a spiritual practice day and night. Kopan Monastery is located above the village of Bodhanath and is one of the early Buddhist centers of the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition, or FPMT, founded by Lama Yeshe and Kabji Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Like many of the monasteries and temples located in Bodha, Kopan is a thriving monastery with more than 300 monks and an active nunnery just below with more than 400 nuns. The monastics are educated in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition under the lineage of Lama Tsongkhapa, and non-Tibetans often enjoy the many courses taught in English held there each year. Kopan's main meditation hall and landscape feature dynamic religious murals and shrines, including a magnificent stupa built for a past teacher and a large prayer wheel spreading blessings from the main courtyard. Kopan is a wonderful place for a short retreat on pilgrimage, as well as a warm and welcoming place to engage in authentic ritual practices. Across the Kathmandu Valley is another famous stupa at Swayambhunath or Swayambhu, meaning self-created. Legend says that the entire Kathmandu Valley was once filled with an enormous lake. Out of the lake grew a huge lotus. The Buddha of Infinite Wisdom, or Manjushri, is said to have had a vision of this lotus and traveled to pay respects. Seeing that the valley could make a good pilgrimage site, Manjushri cut a gorge nearby, and the water drained from the lake, thus creating the Kathmandu Valley. The lotus became a hill and transformed into the Swayambhu Stupa. The gentle, delightful village of Lumbini honors the site of the Buddha's birth. A small museum is located on the site, housing a precious stone marking the actual birthplace. Bodhi trees draped in prayer flags surround the area, and there's a large inscribed stone pillar attributed to the great 4th century king Ashoka. Many other temples and peace pagodas have been built over the years to commemorate this holy birthplace of the Buddha. It was a precious path walked by the Buddha and other holy beings. It can be a precious endeavor, a dream of a lifetime for you as well. Please consider joining our pilgrimage to help support the development of Milarepa Center and the first monastery and nunnery in North America of the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition, the FPMT. I hope you can join us.